Shalom, all praise to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, racha, kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and labor in the word and doctrine. Shalom, meaning peace. May that be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is Deuteronomy 23:23. That which is gone out of thy lips thou shalt keep and perform, even a freewill offering, according as thou hast vowed unto Yahawah thy power, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. So whatever we're saying as a promise, as something to keep, you better keep it. You better keep it, because this is in the law, innit? So if you don't, what was that? This is 1 John 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is a transgression of the law. So it says, that which is gone out of thy lips thou shalt keep and perform. So say you said, I'm going to do this many videos. I'm going to come out. I'm going to preach this many times a week. I'm going to do this, even going into your so-called little things. I'm going to do, it's mainly about the ministry. My focus of this chapter, but, whatever you've said, you ought to do. That's saying, oh yeah, I'll get around to it, I'll do it, and then never doing it. That's some worldly shit. That's what people in the world do. We ought to be men of integrity. So if something's going to be done, best say it's going to be done. Say you're going to do a video every day, and then you miss 3 days. Well, you better do 4 the next day. It's not like someone's holding a gun to your head and telling you, right, you need to come out and do this. If you've freely said it, like I said, a free will offering, you best keep and perform it. This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 42. And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. Right, that's what it says. It says co-heirship. But we need to keep our part of the bargain, especially if we're saying, right, I will do this. Not just it's a suggestion. Yeah, brother, I'll consider it. If you said out of your mouth, I will do it, it best be done. Especially if you've said it more than once. Verse 45. And if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and to eat and drink, and to be drunken, the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. Right, so any time that we're not otherwise occupied, this should be our meditation. We should be pushing this out. It's not just a thing of as and whenever you feel like it. Within yourself whether you've got the time, whether you were able to do it, whether you're being lazy, whether you're being idle. You ought to consider that. I read that verse again. 46. The Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. Right, so imagine you were perfect. You were perfect up until the last week of this man's society. Then you thought, what, fuck it, man. I don't need to push videos out. I don't need to do the ministry. I don't need to do this and this and that. Then you'll get the judgment. Yes, you're right. Good. Yeah. Alright. So anyway, verse 47, and that servant which knew his Lord's will, and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. Right, shall be beaten with many stripes. Verse 48, but he that kneweth not, and did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required, and to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. Yeah, so the more you've got, the more you ought to do, right? The more you know, the more you have to push out, right? It's not a thing that if you were on fire the first year, no, let's say the first 10 years you're in this, and then you thought, you know, I've done my bit. I've done 10 whole years. You know, that's a long time. I'll just stop. No, the more at the 10th year you should be more on fire because you know more, right? You've got more experience. You've then got valuable information that you can show men you're under you, the men that are less experienced. Yeah, well, let's get that as well. Ecclesiastes 1:18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Yeah, so it's not going to be a walk in the park. You know, but you got to push through it. Like, things are going to get a lot more severe than us just getting pressured at, you know, secular work, pressured by family. Like we go through all the time. There's going to come a time when certain ones are going to have to be, for example, beheaded for the witness of Yahawashi HaMashiach. Right, so if you can't take a little bit of pressure, you really need to examine yourself. Right, whether you be in the faith. Right, you should know our own selves that we're not reprobates, paraphrasing. Constantly growing. This thing isn't about being stagnant. It's about growth. And it's certainly not about shrinkage. This is Sirach chapter 3 and verse 17. My son, go on with thy business in meekness, so shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. And that's what it said. Yahawashi referred to this thing as his father's business. Right, and in Luke, the 19th chapter, he's going to require on usury what he gave unto us. Right, so if we got £1, you best flip it. Right, if you've got a certain amount of weight, proverbial weight, representing the knowledge, you better flip it. Now, not everyone's going to be given the same amount, but you've got to do with what you've got. You got to push it out to the fullest and say, I'm really pushing it out to the fullest. Right, verse 18, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Right, so not saying that, oh, I've done it all, you know, I've done the works. Yeah, forget it. You humble yourself. Get in the spirit of, you know, I could get thrown away tomorrow, today. You know, even Paul said that, and we're aware of all the work that Paul did, but he was still in that spirit of keeping himself under his body and not letting his flesh rule him. 1 Corinthians 9 and verse 24 through 27. Know ye not that they which run in a race, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run, that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air, but I keep under my body, and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. Yeah, so the more you're increasing in faith, you're becoming better at teaching, you're becoming better at dealing with men, you know what I mean, interacting. Yeah, if there's men over you, you understand taking commands, if you like, orders. You know, not getting emotional about it. Oh yeah, but come on. You know, if there's men under you, sacrificing that. You know, you've got some free time, but you know, some brothers have asked sincere questions they weren't able to find the answer for. You have the information. Are you gonna just sip your wine and go, oh, fuck it? Or are you gonna, you know, present your body as a living sacrifice? You know? So food for thought, man. I pray it's edifying and exhorting. Next video, Lord willing, all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rakha, Quadash. Shalom.